Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we will speak about, the title of today's class is Character is Success, and we will mention some verses which are related to this, particularly verse from the Bhagavad Gita 3.21, Yadyada charati shreshtas tata devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. This verse speaks about leadership and about leader being a good example, and every one of us is leader in one way or the other. If nothing else, we are leading our own life, we are leading ourselves. So every leader is expected to be a good example for others. So being a good example means that one practices what he preaches. Everybody understands English here. So now Srila Prabhupada says that the Vedas are not meant for speculations of armchair philosophers, but are meant for developing character. And many times in his teachings, Srila Prabhupada mentions character, high character, spotless character, perfect character, and he would also praise his disciples how they have given up bad habits and developed spiritual habits, and how they have changed their character, changed their behavior also. So in relation to high character, we can mention the word integrity. Integrity we can describe as integratedness with timeless principles. Integratedness means that one is aligned or in harmony, working or acting in harmony with timeless principles. And timeless principles are not created by man, they are created by God, by the Creator. So these principles are always there, and one who is acting in line with these principles, we can say that is a person who has a high character. Like in one place, Srila Prabhupada was speaking about cheating and honesty, and he said honesty means to act in line with the verse 529, the last verse of the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which says Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. This verse is also known as peace formula. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices and all austerities. So Krishna says this. Then Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, I am the master of all the planets and all presiding deities of these planets, the demigods. And Sukhridam Sarva Bhutanam, I am the best friend of everyone. So Srila Prabhupada says that if you act in line with these three principles, you are honest. And if you don't act in line with these three principles, you are considered to be dishonest or a cheater. Not only you, we, all of us. So now we know that how people describe integrity. They say that you walk your talk, you keep your promises, keep your word, you are honest, you are not afraid to admit that you are imperfect also. You don't present yourself as something you are not, or we don't present ourselves. So integrity or honesty or character is tested many times in our lives, and they are particularly tested in the moment of choice. So I sometimes say that people post wonderful photos and videos on Facebook of themselves, their family, or when they are climbing a mountain or jumping or doing something. So they present themselves on Facebook very nicely, smiling, being happy. But actually, we can ask, how are you behaving when no one is looking? How are you behaving when no one is looking? So, if one is behaving in the same way when no one is looking, and when everyone is looking, he is a person of a good character. He is not presenting himself in one way and then secretly being in another way. Like some people present themselves to the public, to the colleagues as nice people, but at home they're abusing their family in some way. So what we do when no one is looking should be also high class, should be also good. A person who has strong or high character is a very spiritual person. We can say it's a saintly person. The best character is possessed by saintly personalities. And their qualities are described in the scriptures. They're self-controlled, they're peaceful, they practice austerities, they're clean, they're tolerant, they are truthful, honest, they are religious. So these are some of the qualities of a Brahmana, and also there is qualities of a Kshatriya. He's courageous in battle, he's a leader, he gives charity. So one of the qualities of a person of a high character is that he likes to give. He's a giver, he likes to serve. He's not selfish. Selflessness is one of the symptoms of high character. And that person actually finds pleasure in giving, greater pleasure in giving than in taking or receiving. There is one book. It says the title is "Become a Go-Giver." So we know in the materialistic society we are encouraged to become a go-getter, go out and get something. But one author has written this book, and he's teaching people how to go out and give something. Go out and give something. And also in our Krishna consciousness movement, our prayer is not God give me something, God give me my daily bread, God cure my disease, God give a good husband to my daughter, give me money. Our prayer is not give me something, our prayer is, my dear Lord, please accept something from me. I know that everything belongs to you, but out of affection, I'm taking something that is already yours and I'm offering it to you with love. So this is a go-giver, somebody who goes and gives something. And in the material world, a good example of, we would say, selfless love is a mother. She finds greater pleasure in feeding her child than feeding herself because of love. So now, regarding human character, we can say that one important principle is that you act in harmony with your values. If you have values, I said you act in harmony with timeless principles now, but timeless principles is something that is, coming from outside. But your values, they come from the inside, they come from yourself. And of course, ideally speaking, your values are in line with timeless principles. They are in harmony with timeless principles. So you have different values, and are you always true to your values? That's a question. Are you true to your values? And in which situation you are making what? You are making a compromise. You're making a compromise because of some weakness is there. And I will tell you a story of a man who had a transformation. So he was working in a company, and in this company one of his colleagues was a woman. And her husband was, I think, a stakeholder of the company, and he was investing, I think, a lot of money. He was quite helpful for the company. But this woman would come to her work with scars. So obviously, she was beaten. And then this colleague, her colleague, he went to a coach and he had a session where he was talking about this issue, and he didn't know what to do. He thought maybe it's not right that I say about this and report. And as he was thinking about this and basically talking to himself and reasoning for himself, he come to a conclusion that it would be risky to say this because he may be fired, and to object, to protest. Because maybe the other colleagues, they considered more important the money of that man than the safety of his wife. So that is not character. That is not high character. That is low character. And then, but he felt so bad. He understood, I might lose my job. And he had a wife, I think no kids. So he had a responsibility, financial responsibility to his wife, to his family situation. And as he was thinking about this, he came to a conclusion, it's better that I lose my job than to just close my eyes in front of the abuse of this woman, violence against this woman. So that was character. He was acting according to his values, and his value was protection of the weaker, non-violence. But due to his personal interest, due to fear of losing a job, he could have decided differently. But he went for a high principle. And then he concluded that he could look for another job, and his wife could bring in money for some time. She also worked, and he could, in the meantime, he can take 1 or 2 months to find another job. But that he cannot tolerate this abuse of his colleague by her husband. And he wrote that report, and he acted in accordance to his values. Or for example, if you have a chance to steal something when no one is looking, you can ask yourself, would I do it? Now in Krishna consciousness we know that God sees everything, and He's in our heart. So it's not that there is no time when no one is looking. There is always someone is looking, and someone is seeing what we are doing. But if you would be honest when no one is looking and not steal, then you would manifest a high character. You will manifest a high character. And we have in the Shastras we have amazing examples. One symptom of a high character is courage. Courage and humility. Courage to stick, be true to your values, be true to timeless principles. That kind of courage is needed. And then humility also, understanding that we are not great, we are small, we are part and parcel of God, we are His servants, and we don't want to have unnecessary pride. High character is manifested in a service attitude also. We want to serve others. We want to add value to people's lives. We find pleasure in this. And especially in the moment of choice. every day we have we need to exercise character or manifest high character, manifest good character in the moments of choice. So sometimes you have a choice to do something good or something bad, or to choose, for example, food that is healthy for you or food that is not healthy for you, maybe only tasty, and you know you shouldn't do it. So when you know you shouldn't do something and you do it, you are not manifesting a good character. And the mind will always try to push you to do something that is against your values. So you have to be strong enough to say no to this proposal. Like if you say to yourself, I'm going to chant my rounds in one go without interruption, because I want to show Krishna that I'm very serious about chanting the holy name of the Lord. I don't want to interrupt it by looking at the phone or the laptop or talking to people or answering. I want to dedicate these 2 or 3 hours to listening to the holy name and to connecting myself with Krishna. And then the mind will say, well, but if you look a little bit, it's not a problem. Then you look a little bit, then you look a little bit more, and then you look a little bit more, and you end up wasting half an hour or spending half an hour on the phone and neglecting your japa. So, high character means you show Krishna that you are serious about your spiritual practice, about your japa. Because He is watching. He is always watching us. And as we spoke today, in the little seminar that we had before this, about devotee success partnership, we spoke about training. That we are here on this planet to get trained how to be better servants of God and His devotees and everybody else. So a person of a good character, a person of a high character is always improving himself, trying to improve himself, always learning how to do this better, how to do that better. And in this way, he or she is manifesting a high character. So, now, when you are true to spiritual principles or to timeless principles, then from this you get strength. And sometimes people speak about the strength of character. And strength of character is especially tested or demonstrated in the moments of choice. In the moments of choice. So what choices are you making? For example, today is Sunday afternoon. You could do anything. You could go swimming, you could go enjoying. But you have chosen to come to Krishna's temple and to listen about Krishna and to chant the holy name of the Lord. And this is a symptom of spiritual quality, spiritual character. You use your valuable time to approach God. So this is something very, very praiseworthy or commendable, praiseworthy. And someone may think, well, you know, I was working whole week and now I have to sleep or eat or go out. Well, of course, we should walk out for health, and we should rest enough, and we should eat enough or healthy food also. But if we neglect our spiritual side of life, then this human life is wasted. Human life is wasted. Now, to be able to be true to your values, you need to define them. And therefore, we have this tool that people are using. It's called personal mission statement, where they defined by which rules they want to live. Which values they follow, which principles they follow. Personal mission statement. For example, one sentence could be used as a mission statement for an individual. It's Gandhi's statement, be the change you want to see in this world. This is short, but it's very deep. It's very all-encompassing. I mean, it includes everything. It refers to every individual, and it shows a high character. You be the change that you want to see in this world. It's much easier to give advice to others than to ourselves. It's much easier to coach others than to coach ourselves. It's much easier to teach others than to teach ourselves. But a person of a high character is able to have such a high quality inner dialogue that they always are doing high quality things. And the mind will always try to distract us from the higher principles, So it's a battle on a daily basis, the battle with the mind, and the mind always wants us to make a compromise. So one who has a high character, he doesn't make a compromise with his values and with timeless principles. He always acts in accordance with them. And therefore he can become empowered. He can become empowered to inspire other people to do the same. So what we are doing, we are on training, and we are trying to inspire many other souls to start this training, spiritual training, how to develop the service attitude towards God and towards all living entities. A person of high character engages in spiritual service, serves God, serves his devotees, and serves other people in such a way that they will get benefited by God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada would describe good character, he would also describe habits. He would say that my disciples, they have given up all bad habits. They don't eat meat, fish and eggs. They don't take intoxication. They don't gamble, and they don't have illicit sex. So habits are also a symptom, because we can say so many things, but what we do ultimately shows our character. So if you make a promise to yourself and you don't keep it, you will not feel good. Let's say you say, from tomorrow I am getting up at 6 o'clock. Now that's late, generally for us, but maybe you have been getting up at 9 or 11. 6 is quite a stretch for you. And then you promise to yourself, tomorrow I will put alarm clock, everything. And in the morning when alarm clock rings, you stop it and you say, I'm tired, I have to sleep more. So then another day you promise to yourself, oh, from tomorrow I don't eat sweets, or I don't eat too many sweets. And then when the sweets appear, somehow you say, well, I may die tomorrow and I will feel regret that I haven't eaten sweets. So you always find what? You always find an excuse. How not to be consistent. How not to be true to your promises to yourself. If you don't keep promises to yourself, if you don't keep promises to others, you don't show high character. Person of character keeps his promises. If you cannot keep your promise, then inform the person, or if it's promised to yourself, then you apologize to God, but don't do it regularly. If it happens sometimes, okay, but this shouldn't become like a regular habit to always apologize. The best apology is a changed behavior. The best apology is changed behavior. So these are some of the aspects of high character. And to go back to our title, once I was giving a talk about success in one of the largest libraries in Zagreb, Croatia, in the center of the city, and there was maybe 10-15 people, and I was teaching them 6 principles of success from the Bhagavad Gita. And one man asked me, he said, so are you successful? And what are you successful in? And I said, well, for me success doesn't mean money, doesn't mean fame. Since I started my spiritual practice, I have changed a lot. I have become a better person, better friend, better family member. I have changed my character, and for me, character is success. And fortunately, they didn't object to this. They didn't object to this. They were not so materialistic. Someone could have said, come on, you are successful, I want to see cash here, or I want to see fat bank account. You are poor and you are teaching success, come on, get lost. But these people were a little bit more cultured and educated, and they had higher values. So this is where I got the title for this class, actually remembering the talk I given there about these 6 principles. And now, maybe you are wondering, what are these 6 principles? So I'm going to share them with you a little bit, and we will finish. And then we can have some questions. So the first principle is ask excellent questions. Our thinking is mainly consisted of questions and answers. So if we change the questions we ask ourselves, we will change the thinking, or this inner dialogue. We will change the conclusions we come to, we will change the decisions we come to, and we will change the action, and action will change results. So we can see this is a direct correlation or connection between questions and results. The better questions you have, the higher probability is for you to get better results. Better question, better thinking. Better thinking, better conclusions. Better conclusions, better decisions. Better decisions, better action. Better action, better results. So you have 6. You got it?
I missed one. The better conclusion and then?
Decisions. The next is use positive language. Bhagavad Gita also advises to use positive language. In the 17th chapter, speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others, and always reciting the Vedic literature or the wisdom literature. The third is expand your intelligence. People are using very little of their intelligence, and there is ways how they can expand it. And Krishna, who is within our heart, he can give us unlimited intelligence. And we can use this intelligence. And what stimulates intelligence is, number 1, it's excellent questions. Ask excellent questions. So questions stimulate creativity and stimulate creative intelligence. Number 4 is grow giver's heart. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said that one who is in Krishna consciousness is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. So why is the devotee dear to everyone? Because he's a giver. He's a servant. He's always giving and serving. And so we want to grow giver's heart. We don't want to have a miser's heart, selfish heart. But we want to have a magnanimous heart, or liberal, or giver's heart. Number 5 is become a trusted guide. In any profession that you work, and even as a devotee, you can become a trusted guide, someone whom people will trust for life. And one can be a trusted guide if he manifests high character, and if he is a good example of what he teaches. So in any profession, you can become an expert and trusted advisor or trusted guide for people, and they will be convinced that you have their best interest at heart. And number 6, make a wonderful contribution. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who is most dear to me is one who preaches Bhagavad Gita to devotees. And there will never ever anyone be more dear than one who preaches to devotees. So you can make a wonderful contribution by engaging in the preaching mission and helping to spread the message of Krishna consciousness in one way or the other, whatever you can do. And in this way, leave a legacy, make a wonderful contribution, and achieve the goal of life, which is to become Krishna conscious and to go back home, back to Godhead. So thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? Also, devotees who listen online can send questions to the comments or something. Is it Zoom or...
Zoom, they could speak.
Is it Zoom?
Yes.
They can speak. Aha, if they have questions, okay.
You have a question?
Yes.
Please.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very interesting indeed. I was wondering, so you were saying that one should stick to his principles, and but at the same time, one should be a servant to different kinds of people, God first of all, then devotees, and then others. Does that mean that we always have the same approach when we contact, say, a devotee or somebody who is a non-devotee? Or can we adjust our approach? Or do we really stick to the principles and say it as it is?
We have.
Did you understand my question?
You will see if I understood it when I try to answer. So, we have a general attitude to serve everyone, but we also discriminate. We use our intelligence, because if somebody asks us to buy them a pack of cigarettes, we will not serve them. We will say sorry. So if the service is in line with our own values or with the principles of Krishna consciousness, then we can serve. But if not, then we will excuse ourselves and we will not do it. So we should give, but not be naive. Okay? Yes?
Is it automatically, as we engage in devotional service, then these high characters coming about automatically? Because you speak about...
If somebody is engaged in devotional service, does he automatically have a high character?
Yeah.
No. We have seen many devotees, many people who are engaged in devotional service doing amazingly nonsense things. So it doesn't automatically mean, but they have a chance to get purified and to develop high character and to learn from those who have high character. I give you one example. There is a devotee, I think his name is Devi Deva, I think he's from US. So he was doing Food for Life. And he was getting donations, but he got too many donations. He couldn't use it somehow. I don't know. I mean, I would always be able to use it, but I don't know why he couldn't use it for food distribution. And he would give them back. He gave them back some of the money. And I think some devotees thought, why are you so stupid? But he has such a character that he felt, if I don't need it, I will give it back. And what happened? These people developed so much trust in him, they liked him so much, that later they gave him much more. Now this is not the goal to get much more, but the principle, I mean, he was acting according to some higher principle, and he even got material result, I would say, or tangible result. Although he didn't, this was not his motive. He was just honest. He said, "Yeah, I don't need so much, so you can give it to some other charity or something." There is devotees who are really, courageous. They can risk their life. I know a devotee who was a drug dealer, very, very successful. And he became a book distributor, very, very successful. But if you're a drug dealer, you have to be very bold to do this, because you can be caught or whatever. So he's very bold by nature. And he used this to risk his life to distribute books in very risky countries. And by engaging his nature, which I just described what he was doing, in a devotional service, he was able to do that no other devotees were able to do. Like, for example, Turkey, Istanbul, then other countries, China. Very few people dare to distribute books there. He is not afraid. He finds ways how to do it. He uses his intelligence. This is this alchemic process of turning iron into gold. So our low character, by engaging in devotional service, we get purify our heart, and we develop a high character. And it includes all other, high character, because he is giving the best gift to people, Prabhupada's books. So he cannot fail. He cannot fail. It's true, you have maybe read Srila Prabhupada's books, and in many places he says automatically. But in practice we see that it doesn't go so easy. It doesn't go so easy.
But it is working.
It is working.
Yeah. The examples.
Yeah, this example, yeah. But in many cases...
If you have a low character, despite having a low character, if you engage yourself in the service, then it changes.
Yes.
Automatically.
We can say it.
What is Krishna's doing?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's magic how it happens. It's magic. For me personally, Krishna consciousness, it's not so much about how I deal with others, but how I deal with myself. Because I was never too critical of others, but I was critical of myself very much. So in Krishna consciousness, I was able to stop this self-sabotage. Just stop it and start to be supportive to myself. Not lenient, not excuses, but okay, if I need to correct myself, I will do it, but I'm not going to beat myself up for weeks or for days because I made a mistake. I'm going to avoid it next time. And this helped me so much. But I don't think I would be able to do this if I wouldn't have chanting and japa and, powerful philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. It gives so much strength to help ourselves. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, shall we stop here? Or
Okay, unless there is any other question.
there is more?
No. I don't see any other questions.
Yes. Okay, so let us stop here. Thank you very much for coming, and I wish you all the best on your journey. And I will give you Vanipedia stickers, and if anybody wants, I can give you my card. So if you have any other questions or you need anything that I can help with, you can contact me. Hare Krishna.